programming more accessible in a number of ways. So the captions are now a feature we'll have every time.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah, and I'm with Keep Music Live. So I just wanted to say hi and thank you for hosting this event.
Hi, Sarah. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we're very grateful. So
we're glad to have you. Hi, Shannon. Long time no see. Are you in your new apartment now? I guess we're live on YouTube. Maybe we shouldn't talk too much about it.
Yeah, I was going to show you all my boxes, but maybe I won't do that. Yep, I'm here. I've arrived.
I was just going to say, we are officially live on YouTube now.
Good to know.
And also, hi.
Hi.
All right, Taylor, I let everyone in from the waiting room. So whenever you want to start.
Should we wait or should we go?
I think we can go because you have a little bit of intro still.
Okay. Move all my things to the side. Everyone looks so festive. I love it. Alrighty, folks. So, hi. This is Heart Bomb, and this year's Heart Bomb is in partnership with Keep Music Live Washington. So, thank you, Keep Music Live, for partnering with us. I'm Taylor Roden. I'm the Community Events Manager at Historic Seattle, and our mission here is saving meaningful places to foster lively communities. I definitely want to thank all of our sponsors, without whom we would not be able to do all of our awesome free programming. So thank you to Bricklayers and Allied Workers Local Washington and Alaska. Thank you, Daniel Real Estate, the Greystone, and the Lodge at St. Edward Park. And thank you to Sullen Construction. And I'll get into like the rest of what we're going to do while we're hanging out tonight. But we also want to read our land acknowledgement, because it is important to acknowledge the land that we're on, especially since we are in the business of saving space. So Historic Seattle knows that our properties and programs occupy the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples. And this land acknowledgement is not a substitute for developing meaningful relationships with Indigenous communities or for honoring Indigenous stories as we share our collective history. But it's the first step in recognizing the people whose land that we occupy. So tonight we are here to show our love and our support to our beloved music venues in Seattle and across Washington State, because Keep Music Live is a statewide effort. And our venues have been closed for almost a year due to the pandemic, and our venues need your help. They need my help. They need our collective efforts in order to survive this and eventually open back up so that we can all get back to having a great time and wiggling and wearing our awesome shoes. So one of the ways that we at Historic Seattle show up for spaces and places is by doing this event every year, Heart Bombing, where we create valentines for the places that matter to raise awareness, and in this case, also money to preserve and save these spaces. So we asked you all to create valentines for our venues, and in just a bit, you'll have the opportunity to show us what you made and share a bit about what all of our venues mean to you. And then we'll hear some songs from Tomo Nakayama, and then we'll hear from Shannon of the Showbox and Keep Music Live. But before all of those things happen, we are going to hear from my amazing colleague, Eugenia Wu, who's the Director of Preservation Services here at Historic Seattle. And Eugenia is going to share a bit about the history that Historic Seattle has with heart bombing and the impacts of this particular advocacy effort, as well as others that we have come together to make happen over the years to preserve spaces and places around the Seattle area. So everyone, please join me in welcoming Eugenia. And Eugenia, I'm gonna reshare and you just tell me when you want me to advance our slides.
Okay, great. Thanks, Taylor. Hi, everyone. It's good to see you all. And some of you are Heart Bomb veterans, so welcome back. It's too bad we're not in person. We first started the Heart Bomb back in 2015 And basically it's gathering, it's a pretty casual event. We gather at a place at a certain time and we take a group photo. And generally in the past, it's been associated with a threatened or endangered historic place. It's usually a place that we're actively working to save. And so, but it doesn't have to be threatened. The Heart Bomb is great because it's a nationwide thing and people can just make valentines and just show their love for their historic place, whether it's threatened or not. Next. So our first one back in 2015 was the nuclear reactor building at the UW campus. And is the modernist, brutalist structure built in the early 60s. And unfortunately, it came down a year later. Although we lost this one, we actually sort of won sort of the bigger issue, which was preservation advocates and the city of Seattle. We actually won a state Supreme Court case, which ruled that the University of Washington is subject to the Landmarks Preservation Ordinance. And that was a big win because before then, the university said that they weren't even subject to it. So moving forward, they now submit landmark nominations, and some of the buildings on campus get designated and some of them don't. But there's finally a public process for that. So that ultimately was a success, although we lost the nuclear reactor building, and it has since been replaced by another computer science building. Next. So our next one was in 2016. It was actually not an endangered place, but it was the first one where we gathered to craft to make the valentines together. And this was at the Filson store over in Soto, and they had just moved to a new old place that they rehabbed. And so it was a cool space in their store, and we all gathered to make valentines, and we took this great photo. This was the only Heart Bomb that I missed because I think I was out of town, but it looked like it was really fun. Then in 2017, next, we were in front of the Coliseum, originally the Washington State Coliseum, built for the World's Fair, the Seattle World's Fair in 1962, designed by Paul Theory. And more commonly known back in the day as Key Arena. I think it's going to take a while for many of us to stop calling it Key Arena. Finally, the name is gone from the top of the roof. And so that was a great one that we worked with the Queen Anne Historical Society on. And fortunately, this has a happy ending. If you've been over at Seattle Center anytime in the past couple of years, you've seen this massive construction site. So it's I'm not sure when it's gonna be open, if this is this year or next year, but the hockey is gonna go in there. So we're excited because it didn't get demolished, although it was kind of scary looking through because you could totally see through the structure. But it is a City of Seattle landmark, and we all look forward to having it reopen. And so that was ultimately a success. Next. In 2018, we were in West Seattle at C&P Coffee on California. And unfortunately, you can't see the cute little bungalow that's behind all the people there. But when things reopen again, definitely go there and enjoy coffee or tea in this wonderful bungalow space. And this was threatened because it was put on the market for sale, and a developer bought it, hoping to redevelop it and build an apartment building. The great story is that the C&P Coffee owners, actually, they connected with a group of investors, and they were able to raise the money to purchase, raise the money and have the investors invest in the property to purchase the property. So they were able to buy it, and now it's safe, which is great. And so that was a really good win there. Next. In 2019, we were at the Busch Garden in the Chinatown ID, and this is taken just inside the entrance there. And I think many of you on this call have probably been there. It was also very fun because I was involved in a really wonderful social hour and kind of learning about the Heart Bomb and sort of what the issues are related to advocacy. It is also threatened with demolition, and it still is, even more so now with the pandemic, because unfortunately the bar and the restaurants closed. And so, but that was a really good gathering, and the future is still to be determined for this one. And so it's an active advocacy project for historic Seattle. Next. So last year one of our last in-person events was in February, and it was at the Showbox, and many of you have probably recognized this. We're on the stage there. And again, a really fun event where we made valentines and took some really great photos. And so we're really glad we were able to do this last year. And so that was our last live in-person Heart Bomb, and that brings us to this year. And again, sort of one of our active projects. If we were able to gather in person this year, we probably would have done the La Quinta Apartments on Capitol Hill, which is an active project we're working on, which we just got. It's in the landmarks process, but I know the folks there are making their own heart bombs and taking pictures there. So, but tonight is all about keeping music venues live, and so that's what tonight is about, and we're glad you're here. And so that's a short history of our little heart bomb. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Eugenia, for really just giving us context to the history of heart bombing and the impacts of efforts like these. So appreciate you for joining us tonight to share a bit about that. So next, we get to see what you all made, and I'm so excited. And before we have you all unmute and hold your awesome Valentines up to the camera and just share with us kind of what you made and why you made it, I do want to thank some people, not our sponsors, other folks. I want to start by thanking Artist Crafstman, and Jordan, thank you so much for joining. I'm really happy that you're here. So some of you requested a Valentine crafting kit from us, and Jordan is the reason that happened. It looks like this, right? And there were lots of goods in there. So thank you for partnering with us and for really just making it happen, because I didn't give you too much direction about what I wanted. I was like, fluff and pretty things. And you made all of that happen for us. So hearts to you and to your team. We'll definitely do this again with you all anytime. And I also want to thank Lee of the Tractor Tavern and Michael of Central Saloon. They made very special Valentines. Theirs are actually video Valentines that I'm going to share with you all after the event. But really appreciate the two of you for saying yes and telling a bit of your story, and for also making Valentines and then recording yourself making said Valentines. So really appreciate the two of you. And Shannon, I can't find you on my grid. Yes. Hi. Thank you, because you actually connected us to Artist Crafstman and Lee and Michael. So thank you for being a creative partner, for speaking here tonight and really being our glue. So appreciate all of you.
And Tomo.
What'd you say? Was that
I said and Tomo. She connected us to Tomo too.
Yes, thank you. I was like, I feel like I'm like trying to like read the grid. Thank you. So what happens when I don't read off of my notes? And Tomo. Thank you, Tomo. So now we get to like see what you made. And I really like stories. So I not only would like to see your Valentines, and you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I thought it could be fun for us to just tell some stories. So I made a Valentine and then left it. I'm actually at Historic Seattle's office right now. It's literally on my bed with all the things that I remember to grab, right? Not that. But I thought it could be fun for us not to just show, but talk about if you made a Valentine for a specific venue, would love to hear why. If you made one for, all of the venues, would love to hear why. And then I thought we could just share a memory that stands out at one of our favorite local venues, or what you're most looking forward to once live music resumes again. And I should have probably shared this with you all in the reminder email, but I didn't. So this is just going to be your top of mind answer. But I'm happy to share. I borrowed a Valentine since I'm at our office, and I believe, Bailey, this is yours, right? Bailey also works at Historic Seattle, and I apologize for not acknowledging all my coworkers. Hi, appreciate you all. But since I left mine, I went into our amazing vault of Valentines that we keep year after year, and this one spoke to me, and Naomi shared that Bailey made this one. So I'm borrowing yours for the evening. And I'm happy to get us started with the prompts since I kind of made the prompts up. But the thing that I think I'm most looking forward to, I'm a people watcher at shows and at I'm one of those people, the wallflower who's having the best time by herself. And I think in this period of isolation and watching online concerts, that's something that I'm realizing that I really, really miss. Like, I love watching the performers, but I actually really love watching people have fun. There's just something about that that brings me a lot of joy and gets me more excited about whatever I'm watching, even if it's not a super like lively, rowdy, crowd surfy type of show. There's, just watching people be happy makes me happy. So I'm super excited to finally get to experience that again with strangers who love the same music that I love. So that's my tidbit. I'm probably going to keep sharing throughout the night, but would love to, popcorn style, if you are excited to show us what you made and share a bit, please just unmute yourself and do so. And after we get through this bit, then we're going to hear some awesome songs from Tomo, and after that, we'll hear from Shannon and the Keep Music Live team about how we can support their efforts. Don't be shy.
Hello, I'm Jordan. So I was the one who helped make the kits for all the Valentines, or for all the heart bombs, I guess. So this is my first heart bomb with Historic Seattle, and wasn't really sure to expect. So I kind of just made a nice, simple, like normal Valentines, I guess. It just says "Be Mine." Nothing too special, but I really like it. And this is really nice. I in terms of venues, I really miss going to shows so much. I'm usually a mover and a shaker at shows, so kind of miss moving with the crowd. It's not as fun if you're just doing it by yourself at home. But yeah.
I hear you. Thank you, Jordan. Who is next? Who would like to share what you made, what you miss, what you love?
We can go.
All right.
We have kind of a okay. We put together kind of a compilation here of a lot of things, and of course in the center is keep music live because
it's backwards.
Oh, is it backwards? Sorry about this.
Everybody turn around.
It's that near thing. So what we did is we kind of thought about places in Seattle that have had meaning to us over the years, as well as just the idea of how important live music is for everybody. And one thing we were thinking about a couple of years ago, our nephew came and stayed with us for a year while he was out at the UW, and he's someone who is he's a musician himself. He writes music and he's had some bands he's been in, and so we put some of the places that he really liked while he was here, and one of those was the Stoneway Cafe, where he was able to do some open mic time, and we really enjoyed being able to do that. But we also just wanted to kind of highlight not just these, but all of the places in Seattle that are so special to all of the musicians, as well as the people who love going to hear them play. So that's our.
Thank you both. We're getting a lot of love in the chat. That's really cool and extremely creative.
And
I'd say Lisa had fun today putting it together.
It looks great. I hope you save it. You don't have to wait for me to call on you. You can just unmute and go, and I will find your voice and spotlight you.
Hi, I'm Molly. I actually have worked in music for, I guess, 12 years or so. Most of the last 11 was at the symphony, and unfortunately, I'm one of the people who has been laid off because of all. I also used to work for a concert promoter and have worked as the door person at various venues during those concerts. So I've worked at the Tractor a long time ago before Michael and everyone were there, but I've been all over the place. And what I picked up during the COVID era is embroidery. And so I made a little Keep Music Live this week. The idea that I had behind it was to actually go around to the venues and take photos with it at the venue, but I'd only just finished it today. So that's to come.
That looks amazing. Wow.
Whoops, I'm Marissa. Trying to unmute myself. Hi, I'm Marissa. I haven't done a heart bomb before. Longtime historic Seattle member though, and I came to kind of learn more about it, and I read about the Instagram feature, and so kind of intend to go forward doing some Instagram pieces during the next few days or such. And I just needed more information about kind of how it works. But the main thing is just to do it, and I just cut out a heart for myself in just a couple minutes right before this call. And I wanted to say that I'm a long time partner dancer of every sort. So, probably going on 30 years. And of course, Tractor is kind of a big part of where I've gone over the years for Zydeco and Cajun dances and the Hank Williams Review and all kinds of swing and polka. And my gosh, you guys have had all kinds of things there that are really wonderful. And I can name a very long list, not only of regular music venues, but sort of halls and community centers and so on that open up and allow space for dance and that kind of community. And I would also express that there's a sort of a huge community. I would say people I've known for 30 years who come together, even in restaurants, that kind of thing, or some of these outdoor dance places during the warmer months. And it's something I really, really miss at this time. And live music, I think some of us are just really heartbroken to be without our live music and our dancing and gathering spaces at this time. So I haven't heart bombed before, but I wanted more information tonight on ways that I can do that. And also maybe even people close by in communities where we could gather in small groups and do some pictures and do the Instagram thing.
Thanks, Marissa. So happy that you're with us. And your heart that you made is perfect. So.
I'll go.
Okay.
So we'll go. Hello again. I'm Eugenia. I'm joined by my husband, Alex. I don't know. We're wearing our Save the Showdowns t-shirts. If you can make the this Historic Venues Matter. That's mine, and that's Alex's. Don't drop the mic. Keep music live. So we have. I was like, do we have construction paper? And Alex is an artist, so of course he had some. And then this was just some kind of thing I had left over from Christmas, and so, but it was festive. And anyway, we love the Showbox, and it's the latest historic venue that's been landmarked, and we are actively fighting to help save it, along with Shannon and many others from Friends of the Showbox. And you'll hear from Historic Seattle more this year. We will do a calls to action to have you help us protect the Showbox. So that's sort of that's it.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll jump in real quick and just coming to you from actually the Central, and yeah, the show boxes was my first answer of the most important place in Seattle. And then as far as what we've been doing here, it's all of everybody's opportunities to get to the show box have started in smaller venues, and it's nice to be a part of that as a smaller venue. And I know that Tractor does that. I know that Corazon and Funhouse do it on their own parts. Like we all fill in these small emotional development areas for small bands to really actually like get to say what they want to say. So yes.
Michael, I'm going to share my amen to that. Yeah. I'm going to share I'm Sarah, sorry. And I'm a friend of Keep Music Live, and also a fan of historic spaces. So I'm excited that we got to collaborate here tonight. I will share my Valentine that I just made in the last 2 minutes because I'm in my craft room. But it's just some of the venues that I've had awesome times at: Jazz Alley and Numos and the Tractor, of course, Barboza, the Vera Project, the Red Hen. That place, where the chili place, Slim's, is that a thing? Slim's Last Chance. Anyway, we miss our music venues, and here's a little Valentine that we sent to all of our donors today too. So that was cute. But I will do my duty, and I will snap a picture of this and our little Valentine in front of the venue at the next chance I have, and I will hashtag, and I will put it on the socials. So thank you for having us.
Thank you, Sarah, for being here.
Hey, I'll go next. Hi, I'm Bailey. I'm at Historic. I work with Historic Seattle, and I made this little thing, which I unintentionally made the perfect thing for my cats to attack. But it's got a bunch of different venues that I love written on all the different hearts here. Most of the ones that have been named: Numos, the Showbox, the Triple Door, Nectar. Tractor, a whole bunch there, Central Saloon. I usually get totally paralyzed when I attempt to do any type of like hands-on craft work that is creative, and it takes me like an hour to get started, and then I can't stop. So that was a lot of fun. And I got my Valentine today from Keep Music Live, which is lovely. Thank you. I'm really looking forward to when we can go back out there to go check out a lot of new places that I took for granted I'd always have some time later to go experience. I'm really, really looking forward to not taking any of that for granted anymore and going out every night. Looking to see if my husband heard that. Thank you. Thank you all.
I think I'll piggyback off of Bailey. Hi, everybody. My name's Danielle, and I, too, like many of you, started making my Valentine on this call. So this is my very simple red heart. It says, Keep Music Live. So I am also with Historic Seattle, but before I was at Historic Seattle, and still kind of, I guess, I worked for many, many years, for almost 15 years at Sonic Boom Records in Ballard, which for many years was also a partner of the Tractor and of the Sunset and of El Corazon and Infinite Productions and all of these really important smaller local venues that, as we've been kind of talking about, are sort of the stage that a lot of bands get to play before they make their way to like an STG stage. And one of the things that I really love about our music scene is that it is this really robust ecosystem where you can see national caliber acts at, you know, places like the Neptune and the Showbox. But then you also have these really amazing little jewels like Kremwork and the Black Lodge, where you can hear bands that, you know, most of the people in the city in the know don't even know about yet. And so it's just such a dense landscape, and there's really a place for anybody, like regardless of the kind of music you make or want to listen to, everybody can sort of find their place. And for someone who has really broad interests in music, it's been kind of the perfect place for me for that reason. So I too am really looking forward to getting back out and seeing shows. Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Kitty. Thanks for letting me come in late. I think an old memory is probably the first like club I went to, which used to be called Scoochies, and then it was called the Oz, and then Deviate. I went to a show called Gas Huffer, or a group called Gas Huffer there, and it created like a lifelong just desire and love for music. They had a really weird little stage and a dance club. And then when we come back, I really want to see the Crocodile Space. I'm so excited for the new Crocodile Space, but I'm just excited to be out with everyone. And I'm gonna cheat and use the previous year's one. But I love you guys. I sit on meetings with a lot of you all day long, all week long, and I love you guys. I can't wait to see you guys all in person. Happy Keep Music Alive Heart Day.
And lots of love to Washington Hall and Zulu. I don't want to.
Dear Kitty. I have set mine up as my screen there because I decided, this being a virtual heart bomb, to make a virtual Valentine using the amazing technology of Microsoft Paint, which is my most skilled software. So I went through some pictures of fun things I have done with Bailey and Jane in some historic venues, including celebrating the Showbox landmark designation at Central Saloon and going to Tractor Tavern to see Noah Gunderson with Jane. And Bailey, you'll have to say who it was that we saw at the Crocodile. All I remember was you putting me on a skateboard and letting me ride around. And down here in the bottom, we have just a little thing at Chop Suey that I think was $5, like cheap date night. And I haven't lived in Seattle all that long in the grand scheme of things, but these are the happiest memories of my time there so far. And I look forward to many more pictures like this and continuing to build my Microsoft Paint skills.
Which are stellar. Thanks, Naomi. Anyone else who has, you don't have.
I'll follow Naomi since I'm featured in her Valentine. This is my Valentine, which has turned out more phallic than it was originally intended, but that's okay. I grew up in Seattle, but I wasn't a young person who went to a ton of shows. So I feel like when I sat down to do this, I realized I had a lot more memories at different places than I realized, and it made me miss it even more than I realized I did. Actually, this exercise made me think about all these places that I remember being super big giant pregnant at Numos and I had like this coat over my belly because I was afraid it was too loud for my baby. And that baby is 24 and it was fun to think about that stretch and then to end up, you know, somewhere where I work at Historic Seattle. I'm wearing a Save the Showbox shirt. I suddenly realized that like Bailey said, I'm so excited to make that part of my life and be out in the community listening to music again at all these venues that I've always, you know, been to now and then, but can make a big part of my world. So thank you to all the music people who do this for us because it does make us happy. And a shout out to the Tractor, which is kind of my number one. I'm a Ballard girl. It's where I go. So that's it.
Thank you, Jane. Is there anyone else who has not? Lee.
Yeah, I can go. So thank you for everybody who's given the Tractor some love. That makes me very happy to just see, to hear and feel what that space has meant to you. I've been in the scene for quite some time. I've managed bands, I've worked at KXP, done a bunch of stuff done events, festivals, all sorts of things. But what I really am very excited about is all of this has given me a career. I was in corporate world after I left college and working at banks and IT companies, things like that. And the music community ended up being the place where I felt the most at home. And so I left that probably a lot more lucrative career to go to be surrounded by a group of people that I just have found my heart and soul with. I love this place. I love the city. I love the ingenuity of the artists and all of the people who work to make this a really fantastic place to go experience music. And, you know, I get to meet people from all over the world who come through and play at my venue, but also all the other venues that I get to go to. So that's my love letter to the city as a whole. And thank you to everybody who gave the Tractor some love as well.
Yes, hearts all around. I know that we are a small but mighty group, and I don't want to skip over anyone. If you have something to share and or say, you don't have to have created a Valentine to share. If you want to say something.
I'll say something. I don't have a Valentine this year, but my last year's one was for the Showbox, and it said, "The Showbox is my one true love." And I am so in love with that place. And I've worked there for nearly 20 years. And when you're in a space for that long, you just begin to know it as its own entity. It's like a person. It has its own personality and feeling, but it needs people in it to enliven the space. And I really, really miss my coworkers, and I miss being around live music. I miss the energy. I'm also a people watcher. I like to watch all the people dancing and having a good time. And so I often watch the people more than the artists on stage. And I also really miss discovering new artists. I see hundreds of, I don't know, maybe thousands of bands a year, and you can get a little jaded where you don't like I used to look up bands before they came to see who was playing tonight, you know, and I stopped doing that over time. So then I would just be surprised. I would be at work and I would hear someone I had never heard before and be like, who is that? So if it gets me up, like if I'm in the office and I have to go into the room and see who's playing, that's a really magical thing. And so even though I've worked in live music for a really long time, I never lost that love, the magic of live music and the discovery of it all. And I want to give a shout out to Historic Seattle. I send you my Valentine for this year because you're amazing music champions, and we never would have gotten as far trying to save the Showbox without you. And so I'm really, really grateful for all the work that you do.
Thank you, Shannon. Oh, all of you are making me so misty. Just a flood of really good memories are happening right now. if there's, I don't want to leave anyone out, so feel free to keep sharing. But before we hear some awesome music from Tomo, we do take a group picture, as you saw earlier when Eugenia was sharing with us about previous year's Heart Bomb events. So, final call, last call for good comments, fun stories. Jane, your sharing in particular made me think about my mom and all of the shows that I've made her.
I thought of one a little bit ago, but I wanted people to share their other Valentines first. Is that I actually grew up in the Seattle area through that whole thing where they were trying to basically outlaw youth dancing. And that's where Vera Project really came from. But I also went to a lot that were basically repurposing other historic buildings, like the Ballard Firehouse was one for a little while. There was one out in Redmond. There was dances held, down at that brick house that's down on the Golden Gardens area. Like, there's a lot of really creative young people that will definitely step up when all of this is over. I'm sure every generation has them, and I'm really looking forward to what that looks like.
Agreed. Thank you, Molly. And Marissa, I think you were going to say something.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah. I was looking for, before we go to the music or after or whenever is appropriate, I was looking for a little more information about sharing your heart and your love for your music venues on Instagram with some pictures, later this week. Or I don't know if people take their heart and like put it on, just take a picture of it on top of a photograph or a picture of the venue itself, or something where you've been with friends at enjoying music. Can anyone kind of
I got one of the ring
doing the Instagram piece speak a little more about what you've done?
Definitely, yes. I'm happy to answer this question, but if there's anyone from Historic Seattle who wants to answer Marissa's question, I don't have to be the one.
Do it. Marissa, you can do it a number of ways. You can just take a picture of yourself holding it, especially now, like some people aren't comfortable going out, and use the hashtag HeartBomb, SEA, and I Heart Saving Places, and we'll put those in the chat. Taylor will also, I think, send them out in the follow-up email. Okay. Another thing you can do, and Eugenia, if I don't say this, she'll pipe in, is on the public property side of any place, you can't like just bust in and trespass, but if you are on the sidewalk side of the showbox, for example, and you go there with your Valentine, you could take a selfie there and post that on social media with those same hashtags as a way of kind of tailoring it to whatever places that you want to feature in your heart bombs. So you can, we're being very flexible this year because we can't physically go gather all together in one space like we have in the past.
Okay. I'm going to reach out to many of my friends who are dancers, because we just miss all of our venues, and see if I can have a few people gather with me outside places. And the other thing that I wanted to hear, and maybe there isn't enough time right now, but I did kind of want to hear from those who own and manage venues, kind of how it's going, or if there are places where we can get specific kind of information all collected about what would help keep our venues going during this time, because I know it's really difficult.
I think Shannon will cover the Keep Music Live part after Tomo's performance, so that'll go into a lot of that.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Great questions, Marissa. And like Naomi shared in the post-event email, I'll definitely share the hashtags and all of the links and videos and delights. And then if you have other questions, you can definitely just email me, and I'd be happy to assist. Okay, are we all ready for our really cute photo? Yes? Okay, good. Let me enter full screen so that I can really see your faces. And so we're gonna hold our Valentine's up. Mine is huge. So I'll do my best. Oh, cute. Cute, cute, cute. Oh, you all look so great. So I'm just going to take a series of screenshots. So if you could just like hold your really, really beautiful smiles, that would be awesome. Thanks. That one's all right, but a couple of us were blinking, so I'm going to count us down this time. So 1, 2, and screenshot. And let me take a look at this one. Oh yeah, that one was great. That one was fetch and wonderful. Okay, yay. Okay, so now we get to hear some music because after all, we are talking about music and we have an awesome musician in our presence. Thank you, Tomo, for being with us. And I'm actually going to read your bio because you sent me the bio without asking, and we deserve to put some respect on your name. So, Tomo Nakayama is an acclaimed musician and producer based in Seattle. His melodic, complex, and emotionally compelling music has been praised by NPR, The New York Times, and The Stranger. Shout out to The Stranger. His latest album, Melon Day, was named one of the best albums of 2020 by the Seattle Times and by KEXP. So everyone, please put your hands and emojis and reactions together for Tomo.
Hey everybody, can you hear me okay? All right. Oh, it's so nice to see you all. And thanks for sharing all your artwork and your thoughts about live music in Seattle. It's yeah, I miss it so much, like being out there playing shows, and I've been looking forward to this Zoom meeting all day. So okay, I'm gonna play a couple songs from my new record. Okay, let me know if it's too loud. Where do you go when you got nothing around? Hiding your face behind your broken mirror. What have you got to prove? Who would you be if you had nothing to lose? Scraping the sky in your own elevator. Tick-tock, you look at the clock and the second it starts to move. Looked up and look you in the eye, I could tell you like I'm sleeping. Sleep-talk, when you're waking me up and you're breaking my heart in two. Starting over, right? I could be a dream tonight. We live in a lonely time. You've got your devices, I'm in service to mine. Swiping away the signs of growing older. But I believe in you, and I know happiness is ready and true. If only you call, you two say come on over. Tick-tock, look at the clock and the second it starts to move. Looked up and like you were I could tell you like I'm soon. Sleep-talk, when you're waking me up and you're breaking my heart in two. Starting over, right? I could be a dream tonight. All that I want, all that I want to do, baby, it's all
Look at the clock and the second it starts to move. Looked up and looking up, I could tell you like we should. Sleep talk and wake me up and break my heart in two. We're starting over, right? I could be a dreaming. I could be a dreaming. I could be a dreaming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. Oh.
Yeah, dude.
Does that sound okay?
So good.
It's super weird. A dance party over Zoom.
Sounded
Getting crazy over here.
awesome.
This is what I'm doing every night in my little studio apartment. But no, thank you so much for having me, and thanks for the work that you do. You know, it's yeah, it's really, I just can't wait to, like, you know, get out of here and start playing on stage in front of people. So yeah, but we just gotta, you know, like, stay healthy and, like, keep our minds, and, you know, minds healthy, and hang in there, you know, because yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna keep on. I'm gonna play one more song. Thank you so much.
I could be dreaming. I could be making something good out of nothing. Anywhere we go, I could be dreaming. We could be making something good out of nothing. Who can really know it? Just around the corner from you. Waiting around the bend, and just around the corner from you. Waiting around the bend. Tell me stories, tell me rhymes, tell me anything you like. Tell me all about the good things that could make you feel alive. Could be just one little spark, just two strangers in the dark. Honey, I'd like to get to know you. I'd like to get to know you now. Look at me, we could be out here dancing, shake out the feel, see the way it goes. I could be dreaming, we could be making something good out of nothing. Who can really know? Just around the corner from you. Wait around the bend, just around the corner from you. Wait around the bend. Tell me stories, tell me rhymes, tell me anything you like. Tell me all about the hard times that you had to be alive. Let me just one little spark, just two strangers in the dark. Honey, I'd like to get to know you. I'd like to get to know you now. Tell me stories, tell me rhymes, tell me anything you like. Tell me all about the good things that could make you feel alive. Could be just one little spark, just two strangers in the dark. Honey, I'd like to get to know you. I'd like to get to know you. Tell me stories, tell me rhymes, tell me anything you like. Tell Tell me all about the hard times that you had to be glad. Kept me just one little spark, just two strangers in the dark. Honey, I'd like to get to know you. I'd like to get to know you now. I'd like to get to know you now. I'd like to get to know you now. Thank you.
Yay!
Thanks so much.
Yay!
Yeah. All right. Keep music live.
Yeah, it's so good.
Thank you so much, Tomo. That was great. Can't wait to see you like out and about. We can like jump up. Anyway, thank you very much. So I know that we're coming close to the end, and just want to give everyone a heads up. We probably are going to run a couple of minutes over, so if you have to go, you're more than welcome to sign off. But next, we are going to hear from Shannon. Again, thank you so much, Shannon. And Shannon will be the person to really educate us on what we can do to help keep music live in the ongoing efforts to save all of our amazing music venues. And I totally lost track of my like slideshow. I'm so sorry, Shannon.
That's fine. Well, I'll tell you all what Keep Music Live is, and then just give you a little idea of where we stand now. So last spring, after we closed in mid-March. And when we figured out that it wasn't going to be like 2 weeks shutdown, that this was going to be months and maybe a year, a lot of venue owners and workers got together and we're talking about realistically the challenges that we're facing our businesses and how we're going to survive, basically paying rent and insurance and all of our costs while having zero business. And so from there, we connected with other live music fans across Washington State who became the champions of Keep Music Live. And we designed a fundraiser as a COVID relief fundraiser for independently owned live music venues. There are hometown venues that are smaller than 1,000 capacity. And so we thought, I mean, there was no guarantee that we were going to get any relief from the federal government. No one, you know, live music venues weren't really on anyone's radar as an industry that needed to be saved. And so we decided we were going to raise money to save our own venues. And it was going to be a Washington State effort. And everybody jumped in to help. And Lee and Michael on this call are some of our champions, and they have put in so much time and energy into saving live music venues. So shout out to them for their awesome work. It's really a great group. We've been raising money publicly, I think, since last late summer. And we opened the initial grant applications earlier this month or the end of last month, and we're now processing applications, and we're going to give out our first round of grants in the next couple of weeks, and then we're continuing to fundraise to give a second round of grants later in the spring. And right at the end of December, the Save Our Stages Act passed through Congress, and the Small Business Administration has created the Shuttered Venue Operator Grant. And so that is going to give some federal funds to our independent live music venues. But the issue is we don't know who is going to be saved, how much money they're going to get, whether they'll actually be saved, will everyone qualify? There's a lot of uncertainty still. The grants have not opened yet, the applications haven't opened yet, and they're still writing the guidelines. So we don't know also if when people get grants, how long it's going to take for the money to to be given out. So we really wanted to take care of our own, and people across Washington state have been stepping up and donating money so that we can give directly to our own Washington independent live music venues. So we're really excited for the first round of grants to go out. I will drop the link in the chat here if anyone is interested in donating to Keep Music Live. We are, of course, still fundraising, and we do hope to do 2 rounds of grant funding. And then another, kind of frequently asked question recently is that, Governor Inslee pushed our region, at least in the King County, the Western region, into phase 2 and said that venues could reopen at 25% capacity. And so now, this was a surprise to us because we were pretty sure we were going to be closed until the fall. And, but we all have to decide whether or not it's right for our businesses to open, and vaccines are just starting to be rolled out, and we have COVID variants coming, and we're really concerned with safety, of gathering. And, some may reopen. I think many of us may stay closed for a while as we see what happens with vaccines and the variants, and it just doesn't feel safe, for our staff and for the artists. I'm not sure that artists are really excited to jump on stage right now. And I know that people, like artists, aren't going to be touring anytime soon because everyone across the country is in a different phase of reopening. So it doesn't make sense to route tours across the country right now. So while we could do local shows, and that we have so many local artists in Washington that we would love to support, we want to make sure that we're safe. So at this point, many of us are not reopening, and for, there are a lot of restrictions also on these shows that we could have, that they could only be 2 hours long from the time you open your doors to the time that you leave. And the audience has to be 20 feet from the artist. So for our smaller clubs, you can have like 10 people standing by the door. So there's just a lot of restrictions that we need to figure out, and it's going to be a process. So I don't envision that we're reopening quickly. I don't know. I mean, realistically, fall might be realistic. I'm not sure, because it seems to change every week. So we know we're going to be closed for a time, and the rent and the expenses are still due. So we're still raising money for Keep Music Live while we wait to find out what's happening with the federal grants. So again, if you want to donate to Keep Music Live, it's going directly to our Washington independent venues. And I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has specific questions of something that I didn't cover.
Thank you, Shannon. And I know that a bunch of links were just shared in the chat, and everyone know that I will also share those in the post-event email. So if you didn't catch those right now, you won't miss them.
I see that, Kitty. I don't know.
Wondering, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I was wondering, I just so enjoyed just moments ago listening to music all together on the Zoom call. And it was funny because I just automatically, when the music started, I got up and turned off one of the lights because it's like, okay, it's showtime now, And so I'm wondering how if you know of sort of venues gathering in this kind of capacity with Zoom things just to sort of keep connection. I feel like I'm very involved with music that's associated with dancing and this sort of big dancer community. And I know that just sort of all those ideas that kind of come together and percolate when people are gathering and talking about, creating opportunities for for new bands or some opening bands or something like that. All of these kind of dialogues and conversations and connections that happen and are born out of people gathering. It just is, again, very sad and heartbreaking to just be in this place where we're sustaining. I mean, we're sustaining to pay bills, and that's, I mean, we have to do that. But do you know of any kind of ways in which people who run venues are kind of hosting gatherings to sort of keep conversations and connections and just meetings and basically getting together, just like we are now, alive? Or any thoughts on that as we go into the new year to prevent? And also, thank you very much for addressing the safety piece too, because I think, wow, that would be so hard and such a shame if even in just one of these places something happened. It would just set everyone back so much.
Yeah, and that's our fear, is that, I mean, that's where the super spreading happens. It's in large gatherings of people, and it's live music, and people want to dance and sing, and those are also, and they want to be with other people.
And let their guard down and let their hair down and
yeah, you have a couple of drinks, and your mask comes off, and you're dancing too close. I mean, people want to be with other people, and live music is about experiencing music with other people. So I think, yes, there's some online programming, and some people are dropping some info in the chat. But I mean, if I could make like a huge general statement, is that live music is about playing live, and artists want to be with audiences, and people want to see live music. So, and I think also, you know, venues have laid off their staff. You know, there's not a lot of staff to be putting on live stream shows, whether you're having artists come in your venue, and there are a lot of protocols and restrictions, and some bands don't feel comfortable doing that and being on stage together. They're all from different households. So I think there are a lot, you know, safety really is our greatest concern at this point. So if we can fundraise to pay the bills while we're closed, at this point, we would rather wait until more people are vaccinated, that kind of thing, just to make sure, like, we don't want to be shut down again. We don't want to open up, be open for 2 weeks. Something happens, we're closed again. So it's a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work to reopen. And so we want to do it right, and we want to do it at the right time. So there have been some live streams. I mean, people are, you know, independent venues are holding their own events and stuff like that. So there are things out there. I don't know. I mean, we have our Keep Music Live events where we all gather and talk about the positive aspects of live music and raise money for Keep Music Live. And so if you go to keepmusiclivewa.com, that's keepmusiclivewa.com, we have an events page where and someone did drop that link in the chat, but you can go on there to register for our Keep Music Live green room sessions, we call them.
Okay.
And so that's one way where you can be, you know, we do have live performances, these Zoom events, and we just love live music and talk about live music all the time. So they're feel-good events.
Thank you.
Yeah, our next one that's coming up on February 25th is we're focusing on Black History Month, but we have performances from Audra Boo, TS The Solutions, Benjamin Hunter, who you might recognize from Tractor and Connor Byrne shows. It's going to be a pretty fantastic event. If you guys, a lot of it is the live performance we've done with discussions about what's going on in the community. So I think you'll find those pretty informative, and they are free to attend.
Yeah, and if you haven't been to one of them before, like Sir Mix-a-Lot hosts most of them, and it's I mean, it's very much it's worth your time. Like, and he's a total goofball, and it's though it's been a hard year, it's a really good way to look at moving forward. So I check it out. It's worth it.
I've been. They're great. All right. Yes, Kitty, you definitely deserve all of the love and praise. All right, folks, I know we're over and I don't want to keep us. This was amazing. And I love that we had a really awesome, intimate gathering. That's not what I expected, but I feel like all of these events that we're doing virtually always turn out better than I thought. So thank you for making this one really, really special. Yeah, we're really misty for whatever reason. But I think that's a good thing. It means that it's working. So I will share all of the info from our chat and all of the ways in which we can support the efforts with you all via email. And most of you, I think, have my email, if not all of you. So you're more than welcome to email me if you have specific questions, and I can, if it's not a question for me, share it with the person who it is intended for. Otherwise, I'm going to end our really fabulous gathering. I hope to see you all at other Keep Music Live events. I will totally tune in on the 25th after our event that we're having, because that sounds like a really good time. And if there's not anything else, any finals, that's what my mom always says. Final words, finals. Okay. Awesome. Well, have a great night, everyone. We were live streaming to YouTube, so if you want to share tonight's program with anyone, all you have to do is go to the Historic Seattle's YouTube page, and it will be right there for you all to share. Hearts, love.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thanks. Bye.